you really want to do it, do it. People say, are you sure? Say, I'm sure. Do it. Take the risk. I'm not saying quit your job straight away. It took me 10 years to quit my job. Working in the call center, I would walk in 9 to 5. We heard you on the radio, got bills to pay. To then being crazy and going on tour and people sing back songs that you've produced. It's the happiness. It's very fulfilling. It's weird. It's like, wow. I'll sit in a room with Jazzy B, Sukhshinda, Shinda, Panjabi MC, B21, Dr. Zeus. It's weird. Like, what?
Welcome to the Bay HQ podcast, where we inspire, connect and guide the next generation of British Asian entrepreneurs. Today we have with us Harpz, who's a DJ and producer. How are you doing today?
I'm all right, What are you saying, Am? Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm good. So tell me about your career has gone to new heights all the time, right? But when you started out, when you were a kid, did you ever think you'd be doing what you're doing today?
No, not what I'm doing today, I'll be honest. I didn't know what I was going to do, to be fair with you. Like, I knew one thing, education wasn't for me. I realized that from a really young age. Like, I was good in school. I wasn't like a naughty boy that much. But I sort of realized I was very creative. So I think something creative, yes, but I didn't think I'll be doing what I'm doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
How did you start in music?
So I used to go Gurdwara a lot with my mum. Went to Punjabi school. Got kicked out of Punjabi school for being naughty. Sorry. Stay in school, kids. So mum goes, look, you're going to have to come Gurdwara with me, so you have to do something. So I learnt harmonium and tabla as a young'un. And that sort of was my start to the creative side, learning music in that sense, in the classical end. And then at home on my PlayStation 1,
back in the day, yeah.
I'm showing my age now. On my PlayStation 1, I used to play a game called EJ. EJ was like a music creator. You could make loops and make a beat on there. And it was elite for those early 2000s, late 90s era type of thing. It was amazing. And that was the sort of the starting and the flow of I wanted to do something in music. I didn't know what I was going to do.
And did you ever do something else before you went full time into music, or did you just go straight into it?
Yeah, I used to work. I used to work, man. If anyone ever tells you that they never worked and they were just like, yeah, I was born and that was it, I was elite music producer, they're lying to you, right? Yeah, I worked. I didn't like I said, education wasn't for me, so I done my sort of GCSEs, done all that sort of stuff, and I went straight into working. I was working in a call center. To be fair with you, I actually stuck at it quite a long time. I did 9 years of sales after leaving school. So from the age of 17-ish, I went straight into call centers, straight working, and that was me. And then on the side, I was obviously DJing, getting into it, learning my craft, doing sort of the local gigs in Leicester. That's where I'm from, obviously, originally. And sort of going to bars. And those days, you had to do the whole night for 20 quid. And I started in bars when I was 15. Yes, underage, but I don't drink or anything. So they let me do it, right? I've never drank. I still don't drink to this day. And yeah, I used to get 20 quid as a 14, 15-year-old. That was a lot of money, right? And I was like, I can do this. This is great. Not knowing I was doing 5 hours of work for 20 quid. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's a lot of Freddos you can get with 20 quid back then.
A lot of 1p sweets.
Yeah.
Yeah, 1p elite sweets, right? They were the ones. Yeah, that was it. I was working. And then obviously, as I got older, I was working as well as doing music, as well as learning music production and sort of honing my craft in that side. Because ultimately, DJing is amazing. I get the biggest buzz of doing shows and performing all over the world, Australia to Japan to Dubai and obviously all around the UK. But my real passion was to actually make music, and that's where the itch came from when I learned harmonium.
So how did you get that big break to start DJing abroad, and what was that journey like? So obviously you said originally you were doing bars and stuff locally.
Yeah.
Where did you start getting noticed? How did you start getting that traction?
So I started getting noticed locally. And I say this to a lot of people, a lot of young up-and-coming DJs. I say this all the time. If you can, sounds really arrogant, but if you could dominate your local area and you walk down the street and people know, oh, yeah, that's Harpz. He DJ'd here in Leicester. And then you can expand anywhere you want. Because if you have your city behind you, you can have the country behind you, right? Not saying I'm fucking Drake, do you know what I mean? I wish, right? But that's how I done it. I created a local buzz. From then, I touch wood, God's blessing. I've got a national buzz in my scene, in the Bhangra scene. To then being crazy and going on tour in Australia and people sing back songs that you've produced in your box room. It's like, what? What? How do you know this song? And you're 24 hours away. But my first ever break going international ever, to do my first ever international gig, you know, just a little artist producer called Panjabi MC. Yeah, everyone knows Panjabi MC, of course. You know, I'm not ashamed to say he's my idol. He's the person that I listen to the most, still to this day, all his old CDs. He actually took me to Dubai for my first ever international gig. And this was 2012 was my first ever international gig. So that's 10 years ago.
Yeah.
That was my first ever international gig. It was at a club. Well, they weren't, them days it weren't clubs. It was inside hotels. Now there's clubs inside hotels. It was a place called Excalibur, which at that point was like the 5-star hotel. Like, yeah, there was no Armanis and stuff like that back in those days. And yeah, it was me and him. You know, he picked me up from Leicester. We drove down to Heathrow, told me a hell of stories. I got to go to Dubai with him, perform alongside him, and come home. It was the most weirdest 48 hours of my life. It was only that 48 hours.
Wow, yeah.
It was, the
flying trip, yeah.
Literally flying trip. Yeah, that's where you sort of experience like, wow. And sort of knowing and sort of learning how the international scene works. It was amazing.
And with your own producing, like, who helped you there? Like, how did you said you're inspired by Panjabi MC?
Yeah.
How did you like get your albums released and get like signed and all that kind of stuff?
So the person that actually helped me, the people that helped me, shall I say, one of them is not around anymore. Is what I consider him my brother. He's my best friend, Inda from Twin Beats in Leicester. He sadly passed away not too long ago, just under a year ago. He was actually the first person to fully teach me production. I sort of knew what I wanted to do, but I just wasn't good at it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
At least you can admit that, right? Yeah.
I had the ideas. I sort of knew, but then like, you know, I wasn't the best at playing keyboard and putting stuff together. And funnily enough, MSN back in the day, him and his brother Pram from Twin Beats, I used to say to them, oh, where are you DJing? Where are you guys DJing? They'd be like, oh, we're DJing here. I'm like, well, I'm DJing here. You know, one of them ones?
Yeah.
Little kid I am. And they're older than me, right? From there, we built a friendship. We became like us three. We were like the three amigos. Everyone knew us, right? And they knew that if Twins are there, Harpz is going to be there. If Harpz is there, Twins are going to be there. And from there, like, we became such good friends. I was like at their house every day learning how to do this. And then that was 2005, 2006, being friends, to my debut single coming out, my official debut single coming out in 2012, a song called Jaan Nachdi with Bakshi Billah. It was all those years of learning how to do it. And they were in the video as well, little cameo appearance. And yeah, and they were the ones that got me the deal with VIP Records, who still to this day release songs with me. Again, VIP is like my family as well, like label family type of thing. So yeah, that's how I learned. But I was inspired by Panjabi MC.
It's one of those interesting things as well. I think a lot of people look for that instant success, and sometimes people feel like if they don't get the instant success, then they've failed straight away. Whereas what you're showing there is like you're working for like several years in a call center while you're doing it on the side, but you had the talent and you had the passion as well. Because obviously, it's like, how do you make friends with someone like Twin Beats and like Panjabi MC? It's because they can see that you care about what you're doing and you're
100%.
Enthusiastic about it. And you didn't have that entitlement attitude of like, oh, you've got to get it done in a year.
No,
it's like you did the hard graft. You put in the effort there.
Thing is, people see nowadays, especially now. Remember when I started, there was no social media, there was no Instagrams, there was Twitter. I think, there was Twitter. Facebook was a bit dead. High Five was great.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm so old. You know. And when I released my first song, there was no streaming. You had to buy my song, 79p from iTunes.
Yeah.
And iTunes was new.
Is this when everybody was still like doing the like cassette tapes and selling them dodgy? CDs. Okay, CDs, yeah.
I'm not that old. And I got 250,000 views in like a year. And that was like, wow. 250,000 people heard me. And now what people see on social media is overnight success. They think, some people want overnight success, but it doesn't happen. You have to look at the years of graft that we put in and sort of learning your craft. I always say this to people, and I don't want to sound like I'm like a martyr or some sort of teacher or ustad. I'm not. I'm still learning every day because you never stop learning. But I would always say just, work on your craft every single day. Because I still do. I still practice every day. I make a beat a day. And I was taught that by Panjabi MC. Make a beat a day and you'll never lose your fingers in regards to you never lose your art. You miss a day, you miss 2 days, you slack, you'll miss 3 days. You'll start getting complacent. Don't ever get complacent.
I think one of the things that often happens is where people are doing things for a long time before they actually get noticed.
Yeah.
And then they get noticed and all of a sudden everybody notices them at the same time. And then it feels like it's overnight success.
Oh, 100%.
When it's just because people didn't see the earlier days.
No.
And then if you don't see that, you just assume, oh yeah, they just started in their first song. Superstars, right? Yeah. And being in this world now as well, because obviously knowing the people you do and interacting with them, how has that been? Because obviously you came from the humble beginnings and trying to get there for so long, and then now interacting with all these different people. Do you feel like people have the attitude right in terms of they're trying to help out the stuff that you're doing as well?
What, the new generation, you mean?
Yeah.
Yes.
Even the older generation, how they treat you, how there's relationships built.
I'll be honest, the older generation, we all know each other, right? So I'll sit in a room with Jazzy B, Sukhshinda, Shinda, Panjabi MC, B21, as in Booter and Bali, Dr. Zeus, and all of us. It's weird because they're all older than me, but I started around them. Yeah. That's the best way to put it. I'm the youngest older, right? And because I was, like I said, I was on shows with Panjabi MC in 2006, 2007, and what I've realized with the newer generation, because it's such a social media age, you can rise to fame very quickly because, the world is at your fingertips. And that does change people's attitudes, I've realized. But like I said, I always tell people, listen, just keep your head to the ground, because as fast as you go up, it takes 2 seconds to go back down.
Yeah.
I've never been up. I've never considered myself a star or some sort of popular figure. You know what I mean? I'm very humbled that people know who I am and listen to my songs every day. I'm like, wow, you listen to my songs?
How do you think the time you spend on different things has changed over the years as well? Because obviously at the beginning you were mainly DJing and then working, and you're working as well. Then now you're producing. How's that adapted over time from the focus in 2012 versus the focus today?
The focus hasn't changed in regards to I'm still trying to work the hardest I can. The time of work has changed because I'm never at home. I'm sitting here right now with you, right? But the work ethic's not changed. It's just the amount of time I put into the work has. And that's why I had to, in a way, think, okay, Harpz, you can work and do the DJing and do the music production, or you take the leap of faith, you do the music production, you do the DJing, and you just focus and make that your job. 2015, I made the jump. Scary jump. But it was a great jump.
Yeah. Have you ever regretted it, or how scary was it?
I regretted it. Regret's the wrong word. I was scared. Scared. Still scared to this day. Because it's you're responsible for your life. You're responsible anyway, but you're responsible for your everything. Your income, your outgoings, your bills, your family, everything. You know what I mean? So that was the scariest part, and still is.
What advice did people give you when you're making that jump? Were people kind of saying yes, it's time to do it? Or were they kind of like, oh, are you sure about this?
Yeah. Are you sure about this? Do you think you're ready? Are you making enough money? It always comes down to money. Are you doing enough? And then I had to sit down, calculate, and think, can I do this? And I was like, if I don't do this, I'll regret it. That's where the regret would have been. And so I made the leap of faith, and all that done was make me work harder. And that's what I do. Like I said, today I'm here doing this podcast, I'm doing another podcast after this. Then I've got a show tonight, I've got a show tomorrow, I've got a show on Monday. But you have to do that. You can't make that leap,
What parts of it do you enjoy the most now? What's the bit that you really light up about?
Making people happy. It's a great thing. Either that be on stage, behind the decks, making people happy when I play their favorite song or play one of my songs that they love. Making people happy when they're walking around and I hear my song in their car playing, or they're playing it on Spotify, or they're reposting it on their stories. It's the happiness. It's very fulfilling. It's weird. It's wow.
Even with very musical style, has it changed over the years?
Yeah, 100%. So when I released my first song, which was 2012, my thing was, yes, UK Bhangra, Dol, Tumbi, make everyone dance on the dance floor. That is it. I done 3 songs. Jaan Nachdi, Nakra Punjab Banda Paranda. from 2012 to 2013. Within 1 year, I released 3 songs. Since then, I've never done that. I've released 1 song a year, right? 2013, I took a break. I wasn't happy with my music. I was like, I'm making music to be in the same box as everyone else. This is not what I like. I'm not doing it to be happy myself, you know? And so I took a 2-year break. Again, honed my craft, worked on music, thought, what direction am I going to go in? Spoke to people, spoke to friends, said, look, this is what I'm thinking. I'm going to go fully urban because I'm brought up on Panjabi music. I love Panjabi music, is my core. It's my heart. But I love UK garage. I love hip hop. I love R&B.
I love that era of like the early 2000s of like that music. And it's like, it's kind of gone away a bit, but it's like,
it's coming back.
Those old songs were really good.
I've got a song coming. I'll show you.
Okay, yeah.
I've got a song coming which will give you a bit of nostalgia. But yeah, so like I had that chat even with myself, thinking, Harpz, you're going to make a style of music that not everyone's going to like. You know, your hardcore Bhangra fans are not going to like it. It's not going to be really dance floor songs. But make what makes you happy. And that's what I've done. I've done trap songs with Rackstar and rap songs with Ikka and Bohemia and Falak, and got a chance to do an R&B song with a rapper and a new artist at that point called Ezu, who's now huge, with Rahat Fateh Ali Khan. I would have never thought I'd work with Rahat Fateh Ali Khan. You know, that's like a tick box. Like, what? When I got the vocals in my inbox, I was like, it's Rahat. I showed my mum. So mum, look, it's Rahat singing. She went, what? And this is in my box room. There was no fancy studio. It's my box room, my PC. Ezu was 17, I think, at that time. And he's older now. He's blown up. I'm so proud of him. And Ikka was this massive rapper from India. And I was free reign to do what I want. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to make what I want. And I put Rahat on a trap song. I was like, what? No one does that. And so I was just making stuff that I wanted. And that's what fulfilled me.
Do you have a song that's like your favourite of the ones you've made? Is it one that's like closest to your heart, or is it?
My baby is always going to be Jaan Nachdi. 2012, Jaan Nachdi. That is my baby. That is my nearest, dearest, favourite song that I've ever made because it was the first one. After that, I would say Chakkar. Chakkar, which was me, Prophecy, and Bambi Baines. That will always be close to my heart. The song that I enjoyed the most making? No, I lie. I enjoyed making Chakkar. The second song that is nearest to my heart that I enjoyed making as well as Chakkar was Patake. Me, Ezu, and Amar Sandhu. That was just a fun record. And at that point, I loved Afrobeat. And I was like, why don't we do Afrobeat in Punjabi music?
Stuff you're working on now, can you give us any insight into what's coming out soon or what people should be looking forward to?
I'm at a point where I'm making music I just want to release. I just want to do, and what I want to do now is work with a lot of new artists. You know, I've worked with a lot of artists I've always wanted to work with. I've done them all, like Prophecy, Amar Sandhu's, Kanika Kapoor's, Bohemia, Rahat Fateh Ali Khan, Falak Sabir. You know, the list goes on. And now I want to help new artists break through. That's what I'm doing. I'm working with a lot of new artists. Still working with your established ones, the big ones that people know, and they're coming soon. I can't say when because that's their choice, but the songs are done. You know what I mean? They've been done in COVID. To be fair, COVID, I worked so hard. Like the COVID time, I was just in the studio working every day. Stuff that I can tell you, it's all about new artists. You'll see a lot of new artists with DJ Harpz working and coming out. Just to give people a platform. No one helped me with a platform. People helped me to get into the scene. Taught me everything. But being DJ Harpz, I had to do myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That Indra and Pram are my brothers. Panjabi MC is my brother. They taught me and showed me what to do. But to become DJ Harpz, I had to do myself. What I want to do is help someone so they don't go down the wrong path. You know? And make the mistakes I done. Because there was a lot of mistakes made in the way.
What are some of those mistakes?
Can't mention it, man. You know, industry shafty sometimes, but it's all right.
And that's one of the scary things with some people is that, especially when you're new and just starting out, and it can have sometimes the podcast, right? Some people might have a certain level of self-importance.
Yeah.
And then you've got to navigate that in a way which you want to still maybe work with them, but then it's almost you're trying to prove yourself, and then sometimes they can take advantage of that.
Yeah.
And it's very difficult in the beginning to like navigate that because, well, now I've done over 100 podcasts, right? If somebody tries to be behind the scenes in a certain way, I don't need you. Like, you don't like, cool, you're not coming on the podcast, right? I can have that ability now because I'm established. Earlier on, if somebody was treating me in a bad way, then sometimes I just get them on anyway.
You just have to take it.
Yeah, and that was a tough thing of, in some ways, it's also sometimes you have to be a bit open about it with the people around you because
100%.
Sometimes it might not be that you have the power to do anything about it, but sometimes somebody you know might, and they might be able to help you or like encourage you or like, oh, okay, like don't worry about that person, like, and they'll give you that self-belief because if somebody's a lot like they've got a bigger name than you and then they're trying to push you around, it can be quite intimidating. It can also put you down quite a lot, right?
Yeah.
And it's one of the struggles that a lot of people go through when they're trying to do something creative is
100%.
the people above them. Now, like there's this idea I think which a lot of people like now promoting is like we want to help the people come up.
Yeah.
Was sometimes that wasn't the case, and it's still sometimes not the case, right?
I was just about to say it's still not the case, man. Ego is an evil thing, man. A lot of people have a lot of ego. Some people have ego for no reason, bro. And I don't believe in that. I believe that there is space for everyone in a creative industry, be it music, painting, dancing, podcasts. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, consumption is at all-time high. So why not? There's space for everyone. Everyone's got a chance to do something. So I would never, ever, ever want to block anyone's path.
Yeah.
Or hinder their path or stop their path or take time to go left. Just keep going straight, man. It's cool. You know what I mean?
A lot of the big thing as well to me is like about people's attitude, right? Like if they've got the attitude of like you see they care about what they're doing, I want to help you. If I can see you're only in it because you want to use people or like, I'm not going to introduce you to somebody if I think you're going to try and use them because I'm going to protect my friend, right?
100%.
If I think you've got the right intentions, sure, like I'll help you out. And that's what I think sometimes people get wrong is they're too direct. They're too like, oh, hi, I heard you know this person. Can you connect? It's like, I don't know who you are. If I don't know who you are, then how can I introduce you to my friend? Because I don't know what your intentions are. I don't know like what you're like. And then I don't want to set my friend up for a bad interaction.
100%.
So I think sometimes people need to think about that as well. Like, how can you build trust first? And then once you build the trust, I'll offer to help you. And you've got to do it that way around.
I get them phone calls all the time. Oh, Harpz, how's it going? You're right, bro. Yeah, good, man. Good. How are you, bro? Yeah, so you speak to such and such. Have you got his number? I'm giving you his number.
Yeah.
You all right, mate? Like, DM him on Instagram. It's the easiest way. That's how I spoke to the majority of the big singers.
Yeah, he's like, I've got the thing with so I've interviewed like the founder of Netflix and the founder of Twitter, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but it's like,
me then, innit?
yeah, exactly. It's just like they're not my best mates. Like I can't just be like, oh yeah, hi, this person wants to like make a Netflix documentary. Can you put like you can't do that. Like unless you've got some credibility, I'm not going to send these guys those emails. And well, the one might have been answered me. Who knows? Yeah, it's like you got to like think about okay, like stepping stones, right? Like 100%. Who's the next person to reach out to who can help you, rather than going straight to the very top. And it's an interesting thing about. I've heard like, do you remember Clubhouse, right?
Of course,
it's like huge a couple years ago, right?
Quite a lot.
And I heard from a lot of people about how networking is more important than actually being good at what you do. And it's like you get caught out. Like you 50, can network 50. For a bit.
50-50.
Yeah. But it's like you can only network. Networking only works if you're actually good at what you do. Sooner or later you get caught out. 100%. You can only get so far. It's like people are like, oh yeah, you get a job by being good at networking. So, yeah, but then you might get that job, but then if you're not good,
you're not good at
you're not gonna survive very long, right?
Your networking will be worth nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's one thing that I've done a lot over the years is I met a lot of people doing all these shows, getting in all these rooms. I spoke to every artist, you know, and they'll tell you, like, if you ever speak to anybody in this Panjabi industry, they'll be like, oh, DJ Harpz, yeah, we know him. Because my network. But then I had to back it. I had to be a good DJ. I had to be, well, hopefully I'm a good producer, you know. People think I am, hopefully, you know. I'll never say I'm a good producer because I'm not Panjabi MC, you know, or I'm not Frantic Cam, or I'm not Boota Jagpal, you know, the best ones, or Sukhshinda, Shinda, you know what I mean? So I had to back it. So networking is great, but you have to back it as well.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's, for example, the people I talk to, right? Like, for example, getting you on this podcast, right? Yeah. I was talking about what I've done and how I've did it and like my attitude and why it matters to me.
Yeah.
And that's why you came on. It's not just me like begging you to come on or sitting next to
me. Like I do a podcast. Come on, okay.
Yeah. It's like, it's not just like, come on. It's more like, this is what my mission is. This is why I care about this. This is who I think I can try and help through this.
100%.
And that's why you'd come on. It's not like, oh, because of this or that or like that, or because I know this person. It's because of that mission. And like, obviously we sat down and chatted about it.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
And obviously, like, so how we met is the Seek Awards, right?
Yes.
And like you were sitting with the guys from Vitanic, and
Yes.
I was chatting to them as well. But what stuff are you doing outside of the DJing and everything else?
Top secret, man. No, I'm doing a lot outside of music now. With Vitanic and Lovely Drinks.
Can you tell us what those are? The people who don't know.
Yeah, there's a drink company called Vitanic. It's a non-alcoholic cocktail that is it's done really well already. The founder is a guy called Saab from Birmingham. So we connected about 3 years ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago ish, 2-3 years ago. Hit it off straight away, and I'm involved in that. He also has another company called Lovely Drinks, which is like a organic sort of, ginger ales, orange juices, apple juices type of thing. I'm involved in that. So that's the side hustle, shall we say. On top of that, there's a lot of behind the music scenes type of A&Ring and finding new talent and, events and more global events, not UK. That sort of stuff. Still staying in the creative aspect, but also laying a foundation for when I stop music, I can chill. That's my goal. When I stop it, I don't want to do it till I'm 70. You know what I mean? Like, I do want to stop.
I mean, when you're 70, you're going to Freshers Week still and like.
Oh my God! Imagine, bro, Vitani and the big punk on it. Oh, no. I used to DJ him back in 2010. Do you know what I mean?
So can you tell us more about what you're doing with Vitanic and Love? Like, what's your role there?
Yeah.
Like, what's the goals of what they're trying to do? Because obviously I've chatted to them, so I know myself.
Yeah. With Vitanic, it's like I said, it's a vegan, non-alcoholic cocktail drink. We'll talk about Vitanic itself. The mission with that is to be obviously nationwide as a substitute to alcohol. A lot of people are now not drinking as much, which is great. I've never drunk in my life, ever. Never touched an alcoholic drink. So for me, it was straight up my alley. I was like, yeah, I don't drink. Oh, let me try this. Boom. I loved it. So I was like, all right, how do I get involved? And long and behold, I'm involved. I'm part of the drink, part of the company. And our mission is to make it as mainstream as possible, get it to as many people's houses, into their hands as possible, and sort of into the mainstream vendors, i.e. like the Selfridges and the Harvey Nicks and sort of food courts, and sort of get into those sorts of places, which we are slowly now in that transition period. It's another helping hand to expand the business and sort of make it as big as it can be, and more whole worldwide, sort of go into different territories like India and like Dubai, where there's a lot less alcohol consumption than the West. The East is less, especially like Dubai and type of place it is, and the UAE itself. So those are the sorts of places we're trying to reach out, because it's vegan, because it's non-alcoholic, because it's a cocktail, mocktail as you call it. So yeah, outside of music, it's different. Not a lot of people say they do drinks, and yeah, that's what I'm doing.
What's your favourite flavour? I think I had the blue one.
Yeah, that is my favourite. Great.
Favourite.
Yeah, there's a couple. There's like summer berries coming, which is like the red one, and then there's a couple more coming, but I like the blue one. Yeah. The blue drink. You've seen it. If you've seen it on Instagram, you'll see it on my story, the blue bottle. So that's my favourite anyway.
Yeah, I'll post the link under this podcast as well to Vitanic as well.
I think it's sold out as well.
Well, they need to...
We'll restock.
Yeah.
We will restock, yeah. But yeah, it's done well, so I'm glad.
And like looking forward as well now. So obviously you mentioned there about you don't want to DJ forever and you want to do other stuff in the future. Are there any other plans you've got in terms of things you want to do? And you mentioned about helping new artists. What's some of the stuff that people should be looking out for that's coming in the future for DJ Harpz?
It will be that. It'll be sort of establishing a band of artists under myself. When I say I don't want to do it till I'm 70, means I don't want to DJ till I'm 70. I still want to make music, because I don't think I'll ever stop that. Okay, maybe not when I'm 70. Right? Like, that would be really boring. Like, till I'm at a certain age, I don't know, 50 or whatever, right? I'm 34 right now. So not too long left. Yeah, till like, in my 50s, I want to still be in studio making music and physically having that. And what I want to do is have the next generation of artists who I can hone and create and release and establish and let them be on their own journeys and be a part of it, I'm not saying I'm going to sign them and trap them into a deal, but to be part of their journey, so I can make the next such and such AP Dylan or whatever. You know what I mean? And that's my sort of goal. It's like, you've worked hard, Harpz. You know what you're kind of doing. You know how to navigate. You have the links in the industry. Help someone else. Build their life, maybe, or part of their life. They might not want to do it full time.
If there's people listening right now who maybe want to go into the music industry and they're not sure where to get started, or let's say also they maybe don't have the support where like people are telling them like, you got told, right? Like, are you sure about this?
Yeah.
What would you advise them? Like, what can they do?
I would say, if you really want to do it, do it. People say, are you sure? Say, I'm sure. Do it. Take the risk. But I'm not saying quit your job straight away, right? Because it's not for everyone. It took me 10 years to quit my job. It took me 10 years of working in a call center. I would walk in 9 to 5. They'll know who I am because, bro, we saw you on such and such TV channel.
Yeah.
We heard you on the radio. What are you doing here? Like, still got to work.
Yeah.
Got bills to pay. I had very supportive family. My mom supported me. She went, if you want to do this, but you still got to go to school. So when you're going to DJ, cool. Clubs close at 2, right? When you're home at 2:30, you're going to wake up for school tomorrow morning. All right. And this is at 15 years old. Go for your dreams. Don't take the risk of doing it full time straight away because that is a very risky risk. Do it, work on it, hone your craft, learn your craft. Be as good as you can. Get the support. Show your friends and family what you do. Show them your songs. If you want to sing, show them. Learn how to sing. Don't rely on autotune. Like, learn a bit. Every big singer uses autotune. No doubt. Doesn't matter if you're Lember Hussainpuri, you use autotune. Because no one's perfect, But don't rely on it. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, learn a little bit. Learn the craft. Hard work will always pay off.
Yeah.
I would always say that.
So we've got to move on to quick fire questions now.
Oh, yeah. Well, let's do it.
So who's 3 people you'd like to shout out that the people listening today should be following?
Panjabi MC, because he's a legend. And I don't think our older generation gets enough credit. They laid the foundations for us to do what we're doing. So 100%, they should get all the credit in the world. No matter how successful he is, he's got the biggest song in the world. Mundia Tabachke, you go to anywhere in this world, from Cancun to Australia, that song is being played. But he doesn't get enough credit nowadays. So Panjabi MC, because he's foundation. To build a house, you need a strong foundation. And he was the foundation. Steel Banglez, because he took what Panjabi MC done, mainstream Punjabi song, right? He was mainstream at one point, Panjabi MC. But what Steel Banglez done is took his talent as a British Asian who is a mainstream star, worked with the likes of, come on, do I have to say, like Dave and AJ Tracy and Mist, and the list goes on, right? So shout out to him for being the new generation and inspiring a whole era of British Asians that you can do more than just Punjabi music. Big up to Steel or Banglez, Steel Banglez. Third person to shout out, British Asian. There is so many. So I'm not going to shout out an individual. I'm going to shout out a scene. Shout out to all the British Asians in creative spaces. Regardless if you're drawing and painting like Inquisitive, if you're dancing like the Bollywood co-guys, if you're a singer or an artist or a producer like Ezu and Bali Beats, and hundreds I can go through, right? All these new people and stuff, and and no matter if what you do in the creative space, shout out to you because you're British Asian and you're trying to put yourself on the map, and you can do it. And if our scene stays together, we'll expand and be the biggest it can be. Unity is key, and there's not enough of it.
So next question.
Yes.
If people want to reach out to you, what should they do about? What should they reach out to you about?
Write a letter. If you want to reach out to me, I'll be honest, you can reach out to me about anything you want. Even if it's advice, Harpz, I want to be a singer, what shall I do? It might take me a couple of days, but I'll answer. Drop me a DM. They can reach out to me, even if they're having a bad day, Us as British Asians, or just Asians as a whole, we don't talk about mental health enough. We don't talk about being trapped in a box, So even if you just messaging me saying, yo, music helps me a lot, what else can I do? I might send you a podcast to listen to. I might send you, this one, obviously, the Bear HQ. Or I'll send you a Spotify playlist to listen to, or something,
Yeah.
just to cheer up your day. Or I might send you a meme.
And then on the other side, what should people reach out to you about where they can maybe help you? Is there anything you're looking for at the moment?
You know, the only thing I'm looking for is a new age of talent. Reason being is I want to help somebody. And what they can help me with is they can inspire, the new age can inspire me to do better in music. So the only way I'm going to get help is listening to the new generation. Because the ideas, the levels are so high right now. It's so hard to catch up with these guys, right? It's so hard, but it's amazing to see. Like these youngers now, oh my God, like saying Panjabi bahut tej hai, man. Like it's so fast. You know, I had to, back in the day, there was no YouTube, so learning a program to produce was mind-boggling. Now, these are teaching us what to do. I'm like, whoa, this is great. I'm learning. So the best thing for me to help me is connect, unity. You know, there shouldn't be there shouldn't be a gap between the older generation and the newer generation. We should all be working together and pushing the scene forward, even more so.
So it's been a lot of fun today. Love chatting to you.
Yeah, man.
Any final words?
Thank you so much for the Bay HQ for having me. Final words is, if you have a dream or you have a passion, do not give up on it and don't think you can't do it. You can do whatever you want. It's just the amount of work you put in.
Thank you for listening to the Bay HQ podcast today. In our mission to inspire, connect and guide the next generation of British Asian entrepreneurs, it would mean so much to us if you could subscribe to our channel, leave a review and share this with your friends.